Yo, what's up everybody, it's your boy Nicholas, and today we're diving deep into the world of gig work in 2025. We're talking about those apps you use every day. Uber, DoorDash, SparkDriver, all of them. Because things have gotten seriously messed up. Remember when being a delivery driver meant actually making decent money? Yeah, me neither. These days it feels like the apps are designed to screw drivers over at every turn. We're talking bots stealing the best orders, hidden fees eating away at your earnings, and support that's about as useful as a screen door on a submarine. We're about to expose the 10 biggest ways gig apps are failing drivers in 2025. We're talking the dark secrets, the dirty tricks, and the straight-up lies they don't want you to know about. But don't worry, we're not just here to complain, we're also going to give you the inside scoop on how to survive this gig economy madness. Get ready to have your minds blown because things are about to get wild. You're not going to believe what these companies are getting away with. Stick around, hit that subscribe button, and let's get right into it. Let's talk about the biggest scam pay per order. Remember when you got paid for time and mileage? Those days are gone. Now shady algorithms decide your pay. They're opaque and benefit the company, not drivers. No transparency, just crumbs from the algorithm. Imagine this, you accept an order thinking it's gonna be a quick 10 bucks. You fight traffic, battle parking, and dodge obstacles. You finally make the delivery feeling good, and then bam! You check your earnings, and it's only $4.50. What the heck? That's the reality for drivers. You never know how much you'll make until after the delivery. It's like playing the lottery with your livelihood. And trust me, the odds are not in your favor. This unpredictable pay makes it impossible to budget or plan ahead. It's a constant source of stress and anxiety for drivers. These gig companies need to ditch shady algorithms and go back to a fair pay system. Until then, drivers are stuck in this cycle of unpredictable earnings. Okay, so we've talked about the pay-per-order scam, but it gets even worse. Get this, there are literal bots out there stealing the best orders right out from under you. I'm not even kidding. These bots are like digital ninjas, programmed to snatch up the highest-paying orders the second they pop up. They can scan through hundreds of orders in a split second, analyze the pay, the distance, the tips, everything, and then automatically accept the most lucrative ones before a human driver even has a chance to react. It's like having a supercomputer competing against you in a game of speed chess. You never stood a chance. And the worst part, these bots are everywhere. They're like cockroaches. You try to squash one and 10 more pop up in its place. So what does this mean for real human drivers? It means you're constantly being left with the scraps, the low-paying orders, the long-distance deliveries, the ones with no tip and a higher chance of getting stuck in traffic. These bots are creating an uneven playing field, giving an unfair advantage to those who are willing to cheat the system. And the gig companies? Well, they're not doing much to stop it. In fact, some people even think they're turning a blind eye to the whole thing because it benefits them in the short term. More orders being accepted means more money for them, even if it's at the expense of their drivers. It's a classic case of corporate greed, and it's got to stop. We need to call out these gig apps for allowing these bots to run rampant, and demand they implement stricter measures to level the playing field for human drivers. Yo, ever wonder how some drivers seem to be swimming in high-paying orders? Like, are they secretly wizards or something? Well, not quite. Turns out some of these guys are running a straight-up phone farm. I'm talking 2, 3, maybe even 4 phones, all logged into different accounts at the same time. It's like having a cheat code for gig work. They accept an order on one phone, then another pops up with an even better offer on the second phone. It's enough to make your head spin. This isn't just some small-time hustle either. It's happening everywhere. These multi-phone masterminds are cleaning up while honest drivers are stuck with whatever scraps are left over. Imagine going to a pizza party and someone swoops in and grabs all the best slices before you even get a chance. That's what this feels like. And it's just not right. I get it, we all gotta hustle. But when you're using multiple phones to game the system, you're not just hustling, you're straight up cheating. It's like playing Monopoly with your buddies and using a secret stash of cash. Not cool, man. Not cool. Gig companies need to step up their game and put a stop to this nonsense. We need better security measures to weed out these multi-account users and make sure everyone has a fair shot at earning. Until then, it's like trying to win a race with someone who's secretly riding a motorcycle. You might be putting in the work, but they're always gonna have the unfair advantage. It's time to level the playing field and give honest drivers a fighting chance. Okay, get this. Some of the drivers out there aren't even real people. I know, right? Sounds crazy, but it's true. There's a whole underground market for buying, selling, and even renting out gig app accounts. Imagine ordering some late-night tacos and instead of your friendly neighborhood delivery driver, it's some random person who just bought an account off the dark web. No background check, no safety guarantee, just some rando with your order. This isn't just some harmless side hustle, it's a recipe for disaster. It puts customers at risk, undercuts legitimate drivers, and makes the whole gig economy look shady as heck. Look, I'm all for entrepreneurship, but this is taking it too far. Gig companies need to crack down on these fake accounts and protect both drivers and customers. We need stricter verification processes, tougher penalties for account sharing, and maybe even some high-tech solutions like facial recognition to make sure the person behind the wheel is who they say they are. Imagine going to a bank and having someone cash a check with your name on it except they stole your ID. That's basically what's happening here. It's identity theft on wheels, and it's got to stop. Gig companies, it's time to step up and protect your drivers and your customers. Get your act together and shut down this shady business before it's too late. Hold on to your hats because this next one is straight out of a spy movie. We're talking about drivers using fake GPS apps to game the system. That's right, they're making the app think they're in a different location to snag all the best orders. It's like teleportation for delivery drivers, except instead of actual magic, they're using sneaky apps to jump ahead of the line. They could be chilling at home, miles away from the action, but the app thinks they're right around the corner from the hottest restaurant in town. Meanwhile, honest drivers are stuck in traffic, burning gas and watching the good orders disappear faster than you can say algorithm. It's like playing a video game where your opponent has all the cheat codes. These fake GPS hustlers are getting smarter, but the gig companies need to be even smarter. We're talking about implementing sophisticated location tracking, cross-referencing data, and maybe even using machine learning to detect suspicious activity. It's time to fight fire with fire. These tech-savvy cheaters might be good, but I know the brilliant minds over at Uber, DoorDash, and the rest can create a system that's even better. We need to make it crystal clear that cheating doesn't pay. Ban these fraudsters for life, hit them with hefty fines, and let's send a message that we won't tolerate this kind of behavior. It's time to restore some integrity to the gig economy and make sure that the drivers who play by the rules are the ones who reap the rewards. Let's make honesty the best policy again. Remember when you could count on gig work for a decent base pay? Like you knew no matter what, you'd at least make a certain amount for your time and effort? Yeah, me too. Those days are long gone, my friends. These gig apps, they used to hook us up. But now they've slashed base pay like it's going out of style. It's brutal out there. They're trying to say it's because of demand, but let's be real, right? They're just trying to save a buck, and who's paying the price? You guessed it, the drivers. It's like they forgot who's actually bringing the food to the people. It's getting harder and harder to make a decent living, and that's just not cool. We're out here hustling, trying to make ends meet, and they're pulling the rug out from under us. So, what are they forcing us to rely on now? Tips and bonuses. And guess what? Those are drying up faster than a puddle in the desert. It's like they're trying to squeeze every last drop of profit out of us drivers, while they're sitting pretty in their fancy offices counting their mountains of cash. And don't even get me started on the adjusting for demand excuse, like come on, we're the ones out here on the streets, we know when it's busy and when it's not. They're just trying to pull a fast one on us and it's not right. We deserve better than this, guys. We're the backbone of this whole gig economy, and they need to start treating us with some respect. Alright, let's talk about tips, or should I say the lack thereof. Remember when customers actually used to tip generously, like, they appreciated the hustle and rewarded us for a job well done? Well, those days are fading faster than my hairline after a 3 a.m. spicy wing challenge. And you know who to blame? These apps. They're killing the tipping game with their suggested tip nonsense. Customers see those tiny tip amounts and they think, oh, that's all I need to give. It's like they've forgotten that we're out here battling traffic, braving bad weather, all to bring them their food. They need a reality check, am I right? A little appreciation goes a long way, people. A bigger tip means a happier driver, and a happier driver means better service. It's a win-win situation. And it gets worse. Now, these apps are letting customers play the waiting game with our hard-earned tips. They can wait until after the delivery to decide how much, if anything, they're gonna tip. Can you believe that? It's like they're giving these customers a free pass to be jerks. We bust our butts to get their food to them on time and they're holding our tips hostage? Not cool. And you know what the worst part is? If a customer decides to be cheap or just plain forgets to tip, we're stuck with nothing. Zero, zilch, nada, all that effort for absolutely nothing. It's enough to make you want to quit and become a professional Fortnite player. But hey, we're drivers, we're fighters, we're survivors. We gotta stick together and fight for what we deserve. Ever feel like you're working your tail off, getting decent tips, but still barely scraping by? Yeah, me too. It's like there's a secret money-eating monster lurking in the shadows of our earnings. Well, guess what? There is. These sneaky gig apps are hitting us with hidden fees that are draining our income faster than a leaking faucet. They call them processing fees or some other fancy jargon. But we all know what they really are. A ripoff. It's like they're taking a cut of every single delivery without even having the decency to tell us up front. They're siphoning off our hard-earned cash, and for what? To line their already overflowing pockets? It's just not right. We're the ones out here doing the actual work, risking our cars, our time, and sometimes even our sanity. And they're just sitting back, raking in the dough. Something's gotta give. And the worst part? Some of these apps are charging us fees we never even agreed to. They bury it in the fine print, hoping we won't notice. But guess what? We're on to their game. We're not gonna let them get away with this any longer. It's time to fight back against these ridiculous fees and demand transparency. We deserve to know exactly where our money is going, and we deserve to keep more of it. They can't just keep taking advantage of us drivers. We're the lifeblood of their business, and it's time they started treating us with some respect. We're not asking for much, just fair compensation for a hard day's work. So let's stick together, spread the word, and show these gig apps that we're not gonna take it anymore. We deserve better, and we're gonna get it. Picture this, you're on a delivery and bam, the app crashes. Your earnings are frozen, customers can't reach you, it's a disaster. You try to contact support thinking they'll help, right? Wrong. Instead, you get a robotic voice, a chatbot that speaks in circles or the dreaded canned response. It's like they're saying, we see you're having a problem but we don't actually care enough to read your message. Ugh, it's the worst. It's like talking to a brick wall. You're trying to tell them about this crazy glitch and they just hit you with, have you tried turning it off and on again? It's enough to make you want to throw your phone out the window. But hey, at least you'll have a good story to tell other frustrated drivers, right? Remember the good old days? Were there any? When you could actually talk to a real person on the phone? Someone who could understand your problem and actually help you fix it? Yeah, those days are long gone, my friends. Gig apps have replaced human interaction with automated systems, and it's a nightmare. It's all about cutting costs and maximizing profits, even if it means leaving their drivers stranded without real support. Think about it. You're out there, busting your butt to make deliveries, and when you need help, you're stuck with a robot. It's like they've forgotten that there are actual people behind the wheel, working hard to make a living. They're so busy chasing those big profits that they've forgotten about the human touch, the connection that made these apps successful in the first place. But hey, at least we can all commiserate in the comments section, right? Gig apps making life harder? Don't despair. Beat the system with niche apps. Ditch the big guys for specialized services. Groceries, dry cleaning, high-end meals. Less competition, higher pay, better treatment. Build rapport, get sweet tips. Deliver gourmet meals to happy customers. Work smarter, not harder. Niche apps are your secret weapon. Alright, let's talk strategy. It's not just about which apps you use, but how you use them. Know your peak hours. Don't waste time driving when nobody's ordering. Research lunch and dinner rushes and be ready to cash in. Track your earnings after fees and expenses. Use apps to track mileage, expenses, and earnings. Play the multi-apping game, but be careful. Don't get banned for juggling too many orders. Start slow, learn the ropes, and find what works. Connect with fellow drivers. Join online forums and Facebook groups. Share tips and strategies. Remember, we're all in this together. Look, gig work in 2025 isn't a walk in the park. It's more like a wild obstacle course with bots, scammers, and shrinking paychecks around every corner. But don't give up. By knowing the tricks, using the right apps, and staying one step ahead, you can still make this gig work for you. Have you encountered any of the scams or shady tactics we talked about? Let me know in the comments. And if this video helped you level up your gig game, smash that like button and subscribe for more tips and tricks to survive the gig economy.